Hi everybody, welcome to another Torman's live colour event. My name's Fiona, I'm the Torman's colour specialist, and I'm here tonight to answer all of your frequently asked questions. So tonight's all about you. As we go through tonight for the next half an hour, I will be on screen. We encourage you to upload any questions that you have, whether you're embarking on an interior project, an exterior project, or you would like some knowledge about all of our wonderful products that we have. Please pop all of your questions into the feed. As we go through tonight, if you do have any photos, so I have learnt from last week and the week before, while we're on screen, you're unable to upload your photos. So if you do have some photos that you're wanting to share with us and you're wanting some colour advice about, a particular space, etc., please pop your photos into the feed once we finish the live streaming. So as I said, tonight's all about our frequently asked questions. So we get our questions from the feed, also from all of our social media platforms, and we collate questions that we are frequently asked. So I do have a few here, but as I said, please pop all of your questions in. But what I'm going to start with tonight is something that came to light last week, and I have shared this before, but I thought, look, it's an opportune time to share it again. So last week, a question came about, and I'm just going to read it here, is how do I know if I need a grey undercoat under a colour? And secondly, why do I need a grey undercoat? So I thought, you know what, this is a great opportunity to revisit a sample board that I did previously. So I'm going to pop this up just to give you a visual as to why you need the grey undercoat. So I'm just going to grab this right here. Here we go. Let's just make sure. Okay, so as you can see on the board, one side has a grey undercoat, one side has white. It's the same colour down the bottom. It's two coats, and then we're going up to here. It's one coat of the colour, and then obviously the background. Now, as you can see here, it's over a white background, and the white background bleeds through, so the colour is almost transparent. Whereas here, where we've got the solid grey background, you can really see the colour comes to life. So I'll just pop this away. So it's a really important point. So when you are guided to use a grey undercoat, that's why we really want you to have satisfaction with the colour that you choose. And obviously there are some tips to getting that colour. So a grey undercoat is one of them. Now, the undercoats vary from a tinted undercoat 1 up to a level 5, and they're just varying degrees of grey. And you'll find that, a 1 or 2 you may need for a beautiful, perhaps a yellow, or going into a bold orange, and then going into a 3 for perhaps a bright green, and then, as you saw with the red that I showed there, that actually has a tinted undercoat 4. So it's really important to use the undercoat, and if the reason, as I just showed you, but the way you'll find out is when you are in store and somebody goes up to the paint counter and you produce a colour chip of a colour that you really like, and then you're guided by the paint expert behind the counter saying to you, oh, this needs a tinted undercoat 3, for example. That's the reason why, so that we can ensure that you get your colour satisfaction and you're actually going to get the colour that that you've chosen. So there's the first question for the evening. Okay, and I do have a question come up, so I might jump to that and then I'll come back to these questions. What have I got here? Okay, so I've got a couple of questions already. Elise Murphy, thank you very much for joining us. So hello, could you recommend a Moody blue grey for my kitchen, island and media room? Thanks. I certainly can. So if you're wanting a Moody blue grey, I guess the question I'm going to ask you is, how intense do you want that colour going? I can see that you're wanting something for your kitchen island, but your media room as well. So when we talk about a media room, you can really dial up the intensity and the depth of your colour. So I guess how intense are you wanting to go? So come back to me in the feed and let me know. And then I can take you through some fantastic, beautiful, moody blue greys that we have. Okay, the next question I have is from Naomi. Thank you very much, Naomi, for joining our session tonight. Can you recommend a white grey colour that's light so it makes my living room spacious? I certainly can. But the question that I'm going to ask you, Naomi, is do you get a lot of light? So is it a really bright area that we're dealing with, or is it sort of a room that's low lit? And the reason I'm asking that is when you're using whites For really bright areas, you can use a bright white if you like. And if you've got rooms that are quite, let's say on the warmer side, you can actually use, on a side where they're not getting a lot of sunlight, you use a warmer colour to warm the space up. And so, you know, that would then send me to looking at a white grey that has, that's a little bit more on the warmer side, or if it's the reverse, on the cooler side. So Naomi, if you can just come back to me and let me know about the space. Does it get a lot of natural sunlight? Is it well lit, etc.? And then I can guide you through some colour choices. Thank you. Okay, Ellie, sorry. Thank you very much, Ellie, for coming back to us. So you want something intense. Fantastic. So what I'm going to do is I will share my screen with you and I'll show you how you can view our colours online. Now you can certainly take yourself down to a local hardware store or one of our Taubmans trade centres, a Bristol store, etc., and have a look and view colours at the colour wall. For those that are still in lockdown, definitely hop online as a starting point and have a look at our Torman's website. We have a world of colour, which I'll take you through. But what I always recommend when you are selecting a colour, whether you're looking at, let's say digitally on our website, or whether you're looking at it on the colour wall and you're actually looking at a paint deposited colour chip, grab yourself a sample pot. And the reason I say that is when you put colour into your space, depending on what's going on within your space will depict how the colour is going to look. So, you know, if you've got, and I use this analogy quite a lot, so I'll always refer to this, if you've got a space, let's just say, that has a red feature wall, or you've got timber floors, etc., etc. You know, if you've got timber floors, the timber floors can warm up the wall colour. If you've got red in there, the red can actually reflect onto the surfaces as well and tend to make some of the areas or some of the walls in that space look a little bit pink. So these are things to consider when we start talking about colour. So that's why I say always grab yourself a sample pot, and the best way to view it is get yourself a large piece of cardboard and at least 1 metre by 1 metre. We always say 1 metre by 1 metre because you're actually going to see the actual colour a little bit better. If you go too small, it's not going to really give you a feel for how the colour is going to perform or look within your space. So get yourself a piece of card, brush out 3, brush or roll 3 coats of the colour onto the cardboard. Once it's dry, move it around the room, different times of day, different areas, up near the ceiling, down near the floor, etc. And you really get to understand and see how the colour is going to work within your space. And I think that is the best tip that I can offer anyone when we start talking about colour. And not only for whites and greys, I think it works when you're deciding that you want to use, you know, perhaps a really beautiful, bold colour within your space as well. These sessions are designed to make everybody have confidence with colour, and we certainly want everybody to own colour. And I do believe that, you know, the first step to your journey with colour, once you've made that selection, is to get that sample pot. So now that I've said that, Ellie, I'm going to take you to our website. So I'm going to go to the screen where my laptop is. Beautiful. And I'm going to pop myself on in the corner so you can still see me as I talk to you. So if you go to www.taubmans.com.au and pop that in, and you'll be brought up to a page that looks like this. Now, this is a fantastic, very easy to work around platform to allow you to view colour. What I really love about it is it's simple. So straight over to where it says colours and down to where it says paint colours. Wow, I'm getting quite a few colours. Okay, so let me roll down here. We can see here that they've made it very, very easy to view colour because they've created colour families. So it segregates the colours into groups, so you're not just scrolling through colours and colours. So really great place to start. So now Ellie has asked for something really, really, let me go back, with dark and moody, intense colour, talking about a moody blue grey. So I can certainly go into the greys and blacks. We'll start there. And what you see here is the first bar along here says most popular grey and black colour. So that's fantastic. It's going to give you some colour choices straight away. And if you're wanting to know what's on trend, what's popular, here it is. So then as we go down, I'm going to look for some beautiful moody blue greys. So as we continue down, we go into darker you could say, darker hues. We'll continue to go down. Okay, what am I looking at? Let's have a look here. Depending on, okay, so they're going into green greys there. Okay, I'll take us back up a little bit. Oyster Bar is a beautiful blue grey. I don't know whether that's intense enough for you, and I do refer to this colour quite a lot because I think it is just divine. So I'm going to open that one up for us. And I'll take you down straight to the last image here, just so you can see the actual colour. So we're looking at, you know, digital colour here, and looking at that and knowing, looking at the screen up there and knowing how the colour actually looks in real life. This is a pretty good representation of the colour. But this is something that you could certainly look at. It's a very versatile grey. Depending on where it is situated, it can tend to throw more blue. Beautiful workable grey, suitable for interior, exterior. If you're wanting something that is perhaps a little bit more intense and a little bit darker, we'll just go back up here. I'll go back to colours, back to paint colours, and I'll take you through blue. And we'll see if we can find a beautiful, here we go again, some beautiful, beautiful colours across the top there. Okay, I want to take you down to some deep, beautiful blues, and there is a colour that I really, really love, and I think it's actually going to sit within the purple. Saxby blue is beautiful. Here we go, there's a beautiful colour there. Shindig, Elegant Evening. Elegant Evening is a divine blue. It has a lot of depth to it, and you can see here, and it is quite moody. But there is another colour as well that I do particularly love, Ellie, that I think could work really well, and I will quickly show you that. And it is, I'm going to use the search function here as well, if you do know of a colour, which is black. Let's just hope it's on here now. That yes, it is. Black Flame is a beautiful, beautiful, oops. It's not so much grey, but it's a really interesting, very workable, deep blue that would look stunning in a media room. And you could also use it in a kitchen bench, definitely. I would team that with something like Taubmans Crisp White, so you've got that crisp, beautiful white sitting up against it. And I think that is just, that would be a winning combination. Okay, I will, at the end of this, once I hop off, I'll pop some other colours into the feed as I'm going through answering the questions. But I hope that's a really good start for you. Thanks, Ellie. Okay. Okay. Hi, Kathy. Thank you very much for joining our session tonight. And your question is, can you recommend some popular choices for render colours, please? Something in a nice white cream, but not yellow or grey. I certainly can. So I guess when we're talking about render, and I'm presuming if it's a render, we're going to be talking about an exterior colour that you're after. When we start playing, or when we start, let me come back to the screen, when we start talking about utilising white for the exterior, it's really important to understand how whites perform, especially if they're in full sun. And now I like to use the analogy that the sun tends to bleach the white out or dilute the colour, so it dials it right down. So I think this is where you can actually afford to have a white that has quite a little bit of depth to it, because when you actually put it out into the sun, as I said, it dilutes. And so again, when we talk about using whites for the exterior, I highly recommend, and I probably can't stipulate this enough, doing the sample pot, as I said before, you know, getting yourself a large piece of card and brushing out the white that you choose and putting it outside in direct sun, different areas around the exterior of the home to see how it's going to work for you. Because when we're talking about using whites, the last thing you want to be doing is sitting outside. You know, you might have a beautiful courtyard and you've got, you know, lots of beautiful sun beaming down, etc. into it, and the sun's hitting the white and the glare. You're getting so much glare that you have to sit out there with your sunglasses on. It's definitely something that we want to avoid. So it doesn't hurt to use a white that has a little bit more depth to it. So straight away I think about some, let me just have a look here for you. I'm jumping all around the web here. Right, back to whites and neutrals. I'm just going to share my screen again, and you can see here. So I'm going to take you back to the whites and neutrals and I'll take you down. Or you can see I've heart reacted crisp white, happens to be one of my favorites. So when we talk about using whites outside and you want something that's not too creamy, you can use something like an Aspen Snow, you can certainly use something like White House, and you can also use something like Taubmans South Pole. So let me just pop that straight into this search function here so that I can bring that straight up for you. Okay, South Pole, right, well that's not going to happen. I know where I can grab that for you. I'll go back here. Okay, beautiful. So White House, and then I can show you South Pole in a moment. Oh my goodness, here we go. Beautiful. So White House is a beautiful white, very adaptable, and I think that it works really well for an exterior environment, and it does work really well with a lot of the ColourBond roofing colour choices. So that would obviously depend on the colour. So that might be something that you'd want to come back to me with, Kathy, the colour of your roof, etc., so that I can help to really drill down and sort of give you some great examples. But this is a really beautiful white. It does tend to have a very soft undertone that works really well for exterior. So that's kind of the way I would direct you. The other thing to look at as well is if you are visiting your local store and you're not sure where to start when we talk about whites, I'll come back to the screen, is we do have a, you can see that there, it's called the Torman's Whites and Neutral Brochure. Now what they've done, they've made it extremely easy to use, because one of the questions I'm always asked is, you know, what's a cool white, what's a warm white, etc., etc. And, you know, another tip I can tell you is when you're viewing a white colour as such, if you get yourself a brilliant white colour chip from the colour wall, and then you use that as the backdrop and you put your other colour chips on top of that, you can actually start to see the undertone of the white come to life. And that's a really helpful tip when you're standing there and you're deliberating over what white to use, and when you stand there looking at a colour wall, they all start to look the same. So that's one way. The other thing is back to this brochure. Now what I really love about it is, and I'll open it up here, you can see that here, it's got one side it says cool, the other side says warm. So, you know, you've got your cool whites and neutrals. This is a really good starting point. And then obviously your warm whites and neutrals. So just dependent on what you're after, whether you're wanting something that has more cream, something that has a softer blue undertone, etc., etc. So this is certainly a really good starting point. Anyway, Kathy, I hope that's helped you. As I said, if you can come back to me and let me know your roofing colour, etc., I can certainly drill down and, you know, give you some more, some other specific whites to use. Thank you. Okay, let's have a look here. I've got some more questions. Okay. Okie dokie. Naomi, thank you. You've come back to me. So the question that you asked before was, can you recommend a white grey colour that's light so it makes my living room spacious? And so I wanted to know, do you get a lot of natural light, etc., etc. So you've come back and told me, thank you very much. The room is quite bright, as most of it has windows with sunlight directly coming in. I think I would like something closer to white than grey. Fantastic. You could certainly have a look, and I can think of some beautiful bright whites that are going to work really well within that space. Have a look at Cotton Ball, have a look at Taubmans Crisp White, certainly look at Cotton Sheets, Miss Universe, even Tahira White. They're five fantastic whites that work really, really well within a space that gets a lot of natural light. So what I will do at the end of this, I'll pop those into the feed for you. Okay, let me have another look. Okay. Hi Tara, thank you very much for joining our session tonight. So your question is, what would you recommend painting a cottage house that has a galvanised roof? I'm looking at white on the windows and door frames. What can I use on walls? I was kind of like, what can I use on walls? I kind of like evening haze type colours, beautiful. And I actually do like those sort of colours as well. And the way I would describe the colour that you're talking about is, it's a beige that tends to have a green sort of grey undertone, and it's very, very versatile, and it's very adaptable, and it sits with so many colours. And I guess when I talk about, and I'm just going to digress a quick moment, when we talk about using greys, etc., it's really important to understand that greys have, I suppose, I like to categorise them into 4 categories. So you've got a grey that has a blue undertone, you have a grey that has a greyish, so it's got a browny sort of undertone, you have a grey that has a purple undertone, and then you have a grey that has a green undertone. And so unlike evening haze, like the greys that have the green undertone I would like to describe them as being a neutral type of grey, and they are very versatile and very adaptable. So if anybody's out there and they're looking to use a grey and they're not sure where to start, that's the place to start. A grey that has a green sort of based undertone, because it's very, very versatile. It's very forgiving and adaptable, and it works within many, many environments. So back to Tara's question. Now, when we talk about colours like evening haze, it does have that beautiful undertone, and I automatically think of colours like Taubmans Vellum Smoke. Now I'm just going to see whether I can bring that up for you, because I do think something like that with a, no, I'll go down here. Something like that with a beautiful white against it is just gorgeous. So what I'm going to do is, I'm glad I'm not on screen while I'm just searching my way through here. Okay, we'll just quickly go back to that, and I'll go down here and then I'll share my screen in just a moment. It's just taking a moment. Beautiful, it's coming up now. And I'll just quickly search for this colour so that I can show you what I'm talking about. Oops, beautiful. Okay, so if I go to the laptop, beautiful, you can see me there now, and I'll just pop up in the screen. So this is a colour by, obviously, Torman's called Vellum Smoke, and I just want to bring it up. It is beautiful, and that with something like, even, and I do have it here as well, I'm popping that even with, and I'm just going to do that now, something like crisp white, as I said before, I think would give you a beautiful colour scheme. And you know, you could even introduce, if you're wanting to introduce a beautiful deep charcoal for a front door or something like that, it could look superb. So let me just pop the crisp white with it. Here we go. Spot on, that's beautiful. It works really, really well. So have a look at Torman's Vellum Smoke, and also have a look at Taubmans Crisp White. I think that they would work really well together for you. Okay, let me just see. Okay, right, I've got lots of questions here. I'm just scrolling through. I do apologise. Okay, hi Michelle, thank you very much for joining our session tonight. And your question is, I'm looking to paint my external bricks to complement a woodland grey roof. I quite like Taubman's grey cast, but wondering if you can recommend any other subtle grey-green colours that suit a coastal theme. I really don't want a standard grey. I really like a subtle dusty green tone. Thank you. I'm sure I can help you there. I'm just going to grab myself here the Colorbond colours so that I can have a quick look and work something for you. So you're saying that you have Taubman's grey cast. Let me just see, and woodland grey. Rightio, so you can see that there's woodland grey there. So woodland grey is a beautiful Colorbond colour, and it is obviously, as they say, grey, but it does have that beautiful green undertone. So we're wanting to find a tone that has something like that. Let me see if I can get grey cast up onto the screen for you. And then we can have a quick look so that everybody can see the colour that we're talking about. What have I got here? Grey cast. Oops. No, we'll go back. This is the beauty of being live. Okay, we'll just try again here. Yeah, it's beautiful. Here we go. So I'll just grab that colour. Okie dokie, and I'll take you to my laptop. Beautiful. That is a beautiful, beautiful tone. Again, I know how well that sits with Woodland Grey because of the undertone that it has. Now, we can certainly look, and I'll just bring back your question. If you can read any other subtle green greys. Very subtle, I can. Silence here. All right. Depending on how subtle you want to go, there is a beautiful colour called Taubmans Malamute that sits really, really well with that. I'll bring that up now onto the screen. Here we go. Oops, come on. It's very, very similar to what you have, but that's another very soft, subtle green grey, and it's beautiful, and together, like, they just, when you put the Woodland Grey against it, they just sing together. They look magnificent. So that's something else you can certainly have a look at. Let me just see if I can find you another, depending on, there's another beautiful one as well. Let's have a look here. Pinwheel is probably, Pinwheel's not a bad one as well. Let me just see if I can pop that up on the screen for you as well, and then you can have a look. Here we go. Beautiful. It's probably slightly, very, very, very similar. There is a slight difference. Probably has, perhaps a little bit more, I'm just looking at it here. Your Malamute probably is just more, probably slightly grayer, only slightly. But look, to be honest, either Pinwheel or Malamute is going to work extremely well for you. I'd certainly have a look at those. And as I said before, as I've been talking about in tonight's live stream, and as I always talk about, get yourself a sample pot, brush out a large piece of cardboard, at least, your card wants to be at least 1 metre by 1 metre. Paint out or brush out 3 coats onto the cardboard, move it around the exterior, certainly at different times of day, to see how the colour's going to work for you and work within its environment. So I hope that helps you. Okay, what else do we have here? All right, there's wow, I've been inundated, so I'm just trying to read, thinking, okay, I don't have much time left, so I'll quickly have a look. All right. Danny, thank you very much for joining our session. Hi, I'm needing some interior advice. So it's a Hampton style home that we're building, so unsure how much light it will be getting. I'm after a true white colour. Which would be a safe choice? So when you say you're after a true white colour, Danny, are you wanting straight out white? So are you wanting something that's really bright white? If that's the case, have a look at our Taubmans Brilliant White. If you're wanting something that is very reminiscent of Hamptons, and that seems to be very much on trend at the moment, I would certainly suggest having a look at Taubmans Alpine Snow or Taubmans Aspen Snow. Either one of those is very fitting for Hamptons. It works very, very well, because when I start to think about the Hamptons, I know that they introduce, a traditional Hamptons colour scheme, if you like. They use a lot of Calcutta marble, which is that beautiful white marble that has that grey vein running through it. And they certainly use a lot of blue. And it used to be a lot of navy blue, blue and white sort of stripes that you'll find when you start, searching Hamptons. And obviously, as it progresses, it digresses a bit. And when we talk about Hamptons and we look at what we do in Australia, and looking at that coastal environment, and we start to pick blues that have, a soft green undertone to it, etc., etc. But if you're looking at the Hamptons and you're wanting a white that's going to work with the Hamptons, and you're wanting straight out white, Torman's Brilliant White. If you're wanting a little bit of a tint, have a look at Torman's Crisp White. But if you're wanting something that is going to go with, you know, as I'm saying, the cowcutter marble and the veins that run through it, have a look at Taubmans Aspen Snow or Alpine Snow. They would be my choices for creating that beautiful Hamptons feel. So I hope that helps you. Look, I've been inundated with questions tonight, so I thank you very, very much for joining our session. We're now coming to an end. That doesn't mean that we're stopping. All it means is we're going to hop off screen, and then I'll spend the next however long answering everybody's questions. So I will be online for the next half an hour or so. So please, if you've got any photos that you're wanting help with on colour for a particular area, once we hop off screen, certainly that's your time to upload your photos, and do continue asking questions if there's anything that you're wanting to know. And as I said, I will answer everyone's questions once I hop off here and give you some colour inspiration. So I'd like to thank you very much, everybody, for joining our session tonight. It's been another fantastic session. I do encourage you to go out there, be adventurous, try some amazing colours, grab yourself a sample pot. For those that are still in lockdown, you can certainly hop online to our website, as I showed you before, taubmans.com.au, and you can actually order sample pots. For those that have been following, I do talk about Colorsmith, and I haven't had a chance to talk about that tonight. But do hop on to colorsmith.com.au, have a look at the website. It's an amazing start if you're going on a colour journey. It's a place where you can go, you can upload a photo, and you can create your own beautiful bespoke colours. And next week when we come back, we'll certainly look to do something on Colorsmith. But yeah, as I said, thank you very much for joining our session. Do pop by again. Same time next week, we'll be here answering all of your colour questions. But until then, stay safe, everybody, and thank you very much. And we'll see you soon. Bye.